Okay, here's the train the trainer segment for the apple analogy. Now here's the first thing. How do you know if you're a trainer? Remember, if you have anybody in your downline organization, you're a trainer. All right, here's the bottom line. There's some inside secrets that you need to know using the apple analogy. First and foremost, when you recruit a new distributor, you have got to sit them down within 24 hours and prepare them for the apple analogy. The reason this is because a lot of times network marketers are married to brown and rotten apples. Either they're married or hanging around someone significant in their life that has influence. And if you get them all jacked up, pumped up, and ready to go, fired up in the business, man, this is it. They're gonna go to the promised land. You have arrived at this opportunity, and they get beat up by somebody they really care about, love, and respect. It can be the first thing that gets them out of the business. In 24 hours, you'll get a phone call that says, you know what? Go ahead and cancel my application. This isn't for me. And when you get that first phone call, you're gonna feel devastated. But there's good news, you can avoid it. The way to avoid it is to coach them up front that they're gonna have red, green, brown, and rotten apples in their life and prepare them on what to do. If they're a brown apple, simply dismiss them. Don't bring them to the income opportunity meeting. If they're a rotten apple, get away, shut down, change the subject, and teach them to not mention it again. Now, once you do this, now they're gonna be a lot more prepared to handle it, and you'll have a different conversation. Hey Sherry, it's such and such. Listen, I'm so fired up, and last night, you know what? I had a little bit of a hiccup. I found out I'm married to a brown apple. Dang it. But the good news is I'm not discouraged. I kind of knew it anyway. I'm gonna do this anyway, and I really need your moral support. That's the best type of phone call that you can get. Now let me switch gears a little bit. There's another thing that you as leaders and trainers need to be aware of in handling the apple analogy, and that is that an uneducated distributor may accidentally bring brown and rotten apples to the meetings. Oh my gosh. If they do, that brown or rotten apple can actually ruin and sour the rest of the bunch, which may have had green and red apples. There's nothing worse than getting ready to sign up a new distributor who's pumped up about the product or the opportunity and have some lame brown or rotten apple in the audience say, this is a pyramid, I don't believe in it, here's the rip-off report, this product is full of hot air. You don't ever want that to happen. So there's a couple ways to avoid it. Number one, coach your distributors to put them through a funnel sales process. If they discover at any phase in the getting to know you invitation phase of inviting a prospect to a meeting, a three-way call, or anything like that, that they may be dealing with a brown or rotten apple, ask and coach your new distributor to not bring them to the meeting, or to have a private conversation with that guest or prospect before the meeting so that if in any way they may taint the organization and the people in it, do not let them in the door. The second thing is, occasionally you'll still have people who just bring them straight, they haven't pre-screened them, they haven't pre-sorted them, and you may get stuck with a brown or rotten apple in your meeting. You have to coach your leadership team and the volunteer crew, the room captains, to be constantly looking out for these people, and if in fact you discover that they're sitting in your audience, there's a polite way to ask them to not be involved. Please hold your questions to the end. When we instruct you as presenters, we're going to teach you no questions during the presentation because there may be brown or rotten apples that are going to sneak their hand up and say something that you would hate to have heard in the rest of the meeting. At the end of the meeting, if you discover there's a brown or rotten apple, you're going to coach your distributors and you're going to have room captains that are looking for these people, and they're going to shake that person's hand, thank them for coming, put their arm on their shoulder and start to push them towards the door. And when that happens, you are basically letting them know, thanks but no thanks, we're not interested in you, in the most polite fashion. Get these people out of the meeting. Another secret thing to do as a way of sorting the brown and rotten apples out of the meeting is to let people know that if their answer is thanks but no thanks, no questions asked, we're gonna go ahead and pause the meeting now and allow you the chance to say goodbye. It was great seeing you, we'll see you another time. And for those of you that are interested or ready to get started, in other words, you're a green or a red apple, go ahead and step forward. We're gonna teach you exactly what to do to get started tonight. So those are some pieces of advice on things to do to help your brand new distributor and help your meeting and events be left and sifted and sorted with just the green and red apples so that you can sign them up and get them started.